I worry sometimes when I look around at society and the entitlement, I really worry about it because I'm like, wow, is this the way society is going to be? You're not entitled to anything. You're really not. Like, this is 100%, you having to work for it, right? Am I wrong about that? Like, we need to work for what we have, right? And
100%.
Hit it. That's what I'm talking about. Wait.
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
all right, this is Real Talk with Carmen Costa. We have Jamie yet again. I feel like, Jamie, that's all you do is you're like a filler.
I just sit here. This
I
is
know,
what I do.
I know.
sit here.
I love it.
It's, you know what? You always need that sidekick,
Yeah.
And I'm the
He's
sidekick.
my sidekick.
I'm the
100%.
sidekick.
100%. Today I wanted to talk about, and we've talked about this, is like gratitude. So I thought gratitude would be a great, you did that whole summary last week because we had like, there's a lot of people who had the vid, so Jamie couldn't come in and I couldn't come in, so we ran out of tape. So Jamie's like, I'm just gonna throw a bunch of stuff together. And I realized in that little segment, I mentioned a little bit about gratitude.
Yeah.
And, so I wanted to touch upon it because it's key and important. I think I wrote it this week to the team as well. But when you give gratitude for the small wins in your life, it lets the universe know how you feel emotion-wise about a certain thing, working out. And it doesn't even have to be things working out in your favor. Sometimes, like, I'll be honest with you, this week, what I went through, I thank the universe for giving me this lesson, and I asked the universe, can you let me know what you're teaching me? And thank you for this lesson, right? Because I don't want this, God, I don't want it repeated. So, and I'm not doing it just to be like, I don't want this repeated, more like you want to give gratitude. So, I say this to the team all the time. Nobody owes you anything. Just, that's it. So you come into this world with nothing and you leave the world with nothing.
Yeah.
And in between, when somebody comes across your path and they're good to you, or they're assisting you, or they're holding your hand, or just a kind gesture, you want to give complete gratitude as if you won the lottery. Because in this world, nobody owes you anything, like nothing. And I keep saying this because I see people, and I'm not mentioning any names, but I came across somebody that was so entitled that I was like, is this for real? Like, when you meet somebody and you're like, no possible way this delusional person could be living in this world thinking that the whole world owes them something when the world owes you nothing.
Yeah.
Right? You work for what you have, or you do whatever you do to get what you have. Right? So when somebody comes along and they, give you a kind gesture, I don't understand when somebody doesn't say thank you or give gratitude for it. I don't expect to be like, oh my God, hallelujah, let's bow down. But I do expect a thank you.
Yeah.
When you give something to somebody and you're like, you expect at least, like, if I give you something, here's a coffee, I made you a coffee. That's a nice gesture. I'm not entitled to, I don't have to make you a coffee, right? So showing gratitude lets the other human being know that you're grateful, and it lets the universe know that feeling that you have, that emotion that you feel in your heart, that you want it repeated. So what does the universe do? It blesses you twofold, and it continues to want you to feel that way, right? So that's how it works, right? So
I always say, do to others what you want done to yourself.
100%.
Right?
It's a biblical, it's right back in biblical times.
Yep.
Do unto others as you want done unto you. But I find that lately, I'm not even kidding. Like, when somebody holds the door for me, I'm like, oh my God.
Let's not
Thank
even go there,
you.
though. The society today.
Thank you.
Nobody does that.
No, but no, at PetSmart, I had somebody open the door for me, and I'm like, oh my God. And the lady's like, wow, okay. And I'm like, no, thank you. Like, nobody does this, right? Like, oh my gosh. And then somebody at Fortino's was like, you can go ahead of me. I'm like, what? Are you, like, this is me. I'm not an overreactor. I'm more like, because I think people, the sense of entitlement lately is out of control. I'm like, whoa. Do you think the world owes you anything?
So
nah,
I usually,
bruh.
I was raised that way. You hold the door. Doesn't matter if you're
100%.
young, old, woman.
100%.
Doesn't matter.
100%.
It's common courtesy.
100%.
So what I do when I hold the door and people just walk by and say nothing, I say, you're welcome. So that
You're welcome.
So they
Moana, you're welcome.
and I trust me, they will hear me say that, because I feel like that's when they're gonna, oh yeah, I should have said something. I should have said thank you. Yeah,
nobody
you
like, and I
should.
say this wholeheartedly because I remember my dad would always say, "You work hard for what you have." When somebody gives you something, and I'm the person that's like this. My love sign is gifts, right? I love to give gifts. I love to receive gifts. If nobody knows that, like here's a news flash. I feel like my husband needs to know that. Zervain, you need to know that, because I feel like he doesn't know that.
Zervain, you're in trouble, man.
No, but but you just know people's, like, my love sign is gifts. Like, I like to give gifts to people, whether that's like, I don't know, like gifts of like kindness or whatever. But I'm more like, I care for anybody around in my circle. I will do anything for anybody around in my circle. If you asked for help, I'd be like, oh my God, Jamie, I would drop everything and do it, right? Like 100% twofold, I will do it. So, I'm the gift of giving, right? I do like to give. So for me, it's like, even if I, buy a coffee for somebody. And so on the day my dad passed away, April 8th, I went in to go to Coffee Cultures to get a coffee before coming here. And I bought the lady behind me. She had a coupon. And she was like, I don't know if this is expired. She needed a sandwich. Like, I knew she wanted a sandwich, right? So I was like, I'm going to pay for a sandwich. So I said to the guy in front, I'm like, I'm going to do this. The palminha palminha. They do that in Portuguese.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm saying it right.
No, you're not. I'm going to
How do you say it? Is it not palminha do meu pai? Isn't that how?
Pra alminha.
Pra alminha do meu pai, right? Pra alminha.
We're getting into Portuguese here now. So 101.
Jamie actually speaks really good Portuguese, but I wanted to do that for my dad that day. So I bought the lady behind me. I'm not even kidding you. I didn't expect it, but she was like over the top. She's like, can I hug you? And I'm like, oh God, it's the vid time. Like, I can't be doing this.
Got the vid, lady.
Got the vid, lady. But I did. I was like, okay, but I had my mask on. So I gave her a hug, and I was like, she's like, I really needed this sandwich. Like, I needed it. She's like, and I know the coupon was expired. She knew it was expired. So I was like, it was a perfect opportunity for me to do that for her, right? Perfect opportunity. I wasn't going to post it and blast it on social media. No. Everybody seems to be doing that lately. Oh my God, I'm giving money. Let's post it. That's not giving. Right? No, but I'm being honest. Like, when you want to receive, normally you give, but not with the intention of, okay, I'm going to receive. But when you let the universe know and you give gratitude, like every morning, I give total gratitude for everything I have, the small wins to the lessons I'm getting to all that stuff. When I do that, I feel my life is a lot easier, right? Regardless of how that looks. Now, I'm not saying that I get millions and billions of dollars. Nobody's saying that, but I do get, what I need. That's it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this worked out the way it worked out. But we're lucky. Like, I'm lucky that I get to experience this and I get to have this frame of mind, because I worry sometimes when I look around at society and the entitlement, I really worry about it, because I'm like, wow, is this the way society is going to be? You're not entitled to anything. You're really not. Like, this is 100%, you having to work for it, right? Am I wrong about that? Like, we need to work for what we have, right? And
100%.
Like, and it's like, it's worrisome, because I swear I can't even remember. I think I was at Starbucks. I was picking up coffee, and the lady's like getting mad at the cashier. And I'm like, are we in this point where, and I know everybody referenced them as Karens. My kids are doing they're like, oh mom, it's a Karen. And it's like, it's
I feel
serious.
so bad for...
Yeah, for somebody that's actually Karen, that's a good person. But
I feel bad.
But I'm telling you, like, it's crazy. But that whole thing, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, don't do this in front of my kids. It's like embarrassing. I'm like, you should be embarrassed that you're yelling at people. Talk normal. Like, get your point across. I've been in situations where it's been so crappy where I'm like, you know what? And then the person will say to me, yeah, you know what? I do something completely different. I'm not getting mad. I'm like, you know what? I'm grateful I got to learn this lesson. Now I know how the bank works, because I had an issue with the bank a couple of weeks ago. Now I know the process of the bank. I get it now. Next time I know to do this. But this 2 weeks of like waiting, it was not necessary. Somebody should because my business advisor just disappeared. And nobody told me. And I've been trying to get paperwork. Nobody knows where he went. And so the new girl called me yesterday because of a big, large deposit. And she's like, we don't know nothing about. I'm like, well, I don't know where my business advisor is. I've been trying to get a hold of him for like 2-3 weeks. He got promoted. I'm like, who is going to tell me, right? But I didn't get mad at her. I said, you know what? Is it possible that we can meet today? So today after my recordings, I'm going to go meet with her because I just want to see who she is. I want to know my new business advisor. And she's like, I'm so glad you're not mad. And I'm like, I'm not. She's like, a lot of people have been yelling at me. I get it. The bank has different ways, the way they do stuff. It's not the person that's there, the frontline person. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, one thing I have to say, empathy goes a long way.
Huge.
When you have empathy and you empathize with people, you will not react the way you react to certain situations. You will not freak out, scream at somebody because you understand in your mind, you're feeling what that person feels. And I feel in this society, we lack empathy.
100%.
Hardcore lack empathy. Empathize with the individual. When you empathize with the individual, a lot of those, craziness of situations where you're screaming. And I swear, I've seen people scream at people and I'm like,
For no reason.
And I'm like,
Really?
who are you? What? Why are you talking like that? Your parents should have backhanded you. Who does that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Were you raised in a barn? You cannot be raised in a barn to be treating people like that. It's crazy. I once, like I said to you, I think it was Starbucks or PetSmart. Can't put my finger on it. But this lady was freaking out. And I'm just like, I took my kids. I'm like, guys, I said it loud. I'm like, guys, let's go. This behavior, don't learn from it. This is bad behavior. Her mom and dad didn't teach her right. And then I pushed them out, right? Yeah. And then I don't know if she stopped or not. I have no idea. But the truth is, you can't act like that.
But in most cases, you're able to diffuse the situation.
100%.
And I think my view on this is that you just never know what happened to that person, what happened in their day or their week.
I totally understand, but shit happens to everybody.
Exactly. But
get out of here.
Sometimes.
Get out of here, Jamie. Don't give excuses.
Hold on.
That behavior is not tolerated. No behavior, bad behavior. Don't be screaming at people. I don't care what trauma you received. I can give you a list of my trauma. You aren't going to see me screaming like a damn animal.
Okay now. What I was just gonna say is sometimes people, they forget, and all you have to do is respond with kindness, and that will reset their mind. That's what I've found in my life.
I hope so.
In a lot of cases, it happens. Somebody just goes ballistics, and you just let them vent out, and leave that awkward 2 second of silence at the end. Just let it be. Don't respond. And I find that works miracles. Because
I just want you to know, I'm not an animal that I reply back. If somebody, I've never had, in the last little bit, I haven't had anybody yell at me. So that's the truth. I had one lady at PetSmart yell at me. And why do I feel like I'm always at PetSmart? I love my dog, Mando. Can we do a picture of Mando? I love Mando so much.
What's going on, PetSmart?
No, this one lady just she lost it. I can't even remember what she lost it. And I just grabbed my 2 kids and I said the same thing. I'm like, this behavior, do not do this behavior. She was never taught as a kid, right? She didn't teach, but she was ballistic. But I think it was because of something Zervain had done. I've no idea, Zervain must have been in the same aisle or I don't know. But she went ballistic, and I tell my kids all the time, it's a life lesson. Do not act like this. This is wrong. This is not how you should be treating people. And then I exit them all the time. I remove my kids from the situation with a lesson learned, right? To teach them. But I do have to say, I find it so hard for me, and I get very passionate about this because I've been I used to be a manager at McDonald's. And I would get people yelling at me. I quit McDonald's because some construction guy almost beat me up over a cheeseburger. And I want you to know that is not normal. I don't care what anybody says, Jamie. That is not normal. How do you, first of all, I didn't even reply. Couldn't even get a word in with him. And then at the end, because I did okay, we'll get you another cheeseburger. He's like, so it is your fault. And then he comes to swing at me. And the close open guy, stopped it. Scott. Thank you, Scott. Shout out to Scott for saving my life.
Thanks, Scott.
But that's what I'm saying to you. It's not normal when you're reacting like that. When I see things I can't even go on social media because some of the things are ridiculous. When people are screaming their heads off, I'm like, Were you raised in a barn? Were you raised in a barn, man? We're not animals. Like, when did we turn into animals? We're all in the same situation. So there's no excuse. We've all had trauma. I've had trauma. I can list my traumas. It's really anybody's business. But honestly, we've all dealt with it. We all have inner child issues. We all do. But it's not right when you are going out laying your issues on other people who are frontline people. They're not even the person that owns the company. They're not even anybody that, they're just making a living. They're working, right? And it could be your kid. That's like, if you're yelling at a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old and you have a 16-year-old at home, the universe is going to hear that and just repeat it back to your kids. So think about that. Think about your home. Think about what could happen to you because this stuff gets repeated. And I come back to this point right here. If you're doing this, why me? Why me, universe? Why me? And you're acting like an animal, do some self-reflection. Like, do some self-reflection. I'm not trying to be ignorant, but really, I've watched the entitlement lately, and it's been off the wall. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe the craziness of people not recognizing the self-entitlement and what's leading to, your life being in shambles, right? Recognize it. Be grateful for what you have. The small windfalls that you get, be grateful for it. The small windfalls, right? The small, like you don't have to win big to be grateful. You can be grateful for anybody that holds a door for you, right? And I say this wholeheartedly. I always do that because it's sad. Like, it's sad that we now I have to be surprised when somebody holds a door for me because that's not common anymore.
Right.
It's not common. So I'm excited. I'm like, oh my God, you held the door for me. Thank you. And Buddy's like, whoa, what the hell's wrong with you? And I'm like, no, nobody does this anymore. Like, it's rare to see the nice versus you see the ugly all the time. So be the change. Don't be the ugly. Yeah. Be the nice. Be the kindness. Be the love. You know what I mean? Be the rare thing. Because you know what? The rare thing will get you a lot more. Because when you switch it up in somebody's life that, all they get is negative. So this customer service rep is getting negative. You turn around and give positive, you're going to get everything you want. Because that person's going to be like, oh, I haven't felt this feeling. This is an amazing feeling. You know what? I'm going to reward this person and do everything in my power to get whatever they need done. That's what's going to happen.
Pass it
right?
forward, yeah.
Pay it forward, right? So my thing is, you know what it feels like. The human being knows what it feels like. Do you like getting yelled at? Do you think yelling at somebody is going to get you what you want? Do you like being yelled at? No. So do unto others as you want done. If everybody just followed that golden rule, simple. What would happen?
Very simple.
Life would be so simple. Yeah. But yet, it's not. Yet, we live in a society where, somebody's yelling at me for being in the same aisle or whatever. It makes no sense. Where I look at people like they're nuts. I'm like, and they're like, what's, and you just look at them and you're like, I don't want to be associated with you because that behavior is out of control. Like, why? Right? So all I have to say on this segment, I know, it's crazy, mind blown, but all I have to say in this segment, do unto others as you want done unto you. You know what I mean? Be kind, be the love, be caring. Care for, no, not Karen, but Karen, yeah. Like care for people. You know what? That's a horrible statement, man. Like, cause there's actually really good Karens out there. Like, yeah. Why did it become a Karen thing?
I don't know.
What's the male form now?
Some people say it's Kevin.
God, that's horrible. I know so many good Kevins and Karens.
I have a nephew that's Kevin, but no, I've heard other names as well, but it's just not nice.
It's not nice, man. I wouldn't want to be Carmen.
Imagine. Don't be a Carmen.
Don't be a Carmen. That's crazy. No, I just, all I would say is, be kind, give gratitude for the small wins because, it will brighten your day. It'll brighten, your life, right? As soon as you start, you switch your frame of mind to gratitude, you'll see a lot of change in life, right? So, I do this with the team all the time, they do the exact same thing. They start doing their gratitudes in the morning. I would suggest when you wake up, start doing like 1 or 2 gratitudes. You don't have to do a lot, right? I do it with my kids and my kids will say, I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my mommy. I'm grateful for my daddy. Start off, small steps, baby steps. And when you do the baby steps, those baby steps will lead to bigger steps. And then you will understand the whole process, right? And it's, everybody says karma does exist. Karma is a boomerang of your thoughts, right? So whatever you think will go out to the universe, will come back to you. So whatever your frame of mind is, goes out to the universe, comes back to you. So, I would suggest just change it up. Start small. Start reading mantras that are, positive, right? Start giving the gratitude in the morning. Whatever works for you. You can even do it at night while you're brushing your teeth. I'm hoping you're brushing your teeth 3 times a day, but, you can do 1 or 2 times. But yeah, so I would just give, complete gratitude, and see where that takes you, right? Start the small steps, right? And then I would love for, the comments, right? If you have any comments, questions, concerns, I'd love to hear it. You can DM me as well. Subscribe to my channel. I would love to see, a lot more subscribers.
Yeah, and we like to, I think everybody on YouTube always asks that because, it helps us keep going, right?
For sure.
It's nice to see that. It's almost like acknowledgement that, okay, we're here for you and we're supporting you. So a lot of people watch the videos, but they never click the like or the subscribe button. And let's just click.
It's just clicking. It really is. I subscribe to everybody's because now I'm like, I want it repeated to me, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hit the bell notification. The bell notification tells you when I drop a video. We usually drop videos on Sunday.
On Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. So we drop our videos on Sunday, and then any questions and concerns you have, please let us know. But thank you so much for listening in. Remember, gratitude. It's #1.
There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play, where the whiskey's running like the river, but they all never come for the booze and bass. I'm the one, I'm the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place.